Customers first, incredible quality, and affordable to all. At CVF Racing, we've been guided by those three principles since we first started doing business in 2009. And they've enabled us to become what is today the fastest growing provider of premium brackets, pulleys, and engine accessories, and one of the world's most complete selections of serpentine and V-belt kits, all of which are backed by an industry-leading lifetime warranty and the best-in-class customer service. To begin your installation of the small block Chevy Beast kit, first open each box and lay out all the pulleys, brackets, and hardware. Check the packaging list carefully to ensure that you have everything you'll need, and read the instructions carefully before beginning. If you haven't already done so, verify that the system you ordered is going to fit into your vehicle application. CVF provides dimensions of each system online for both side-to-side and depth. It's a good idea to take photos of the current setup and refer back to if needed. And lastly, remember to keep it loose. Do not tighten any bolts until the end. Things will go a lot smoother during installation if bolts are kept loose until all are started and tightened down together. To prepare, disconnect the battery, evacuate all cooling and power steering fluids, and disconnect the hoses. Disconnect all alternator and AC wiring and remove the existing drive system, including all accessories. Use a thread chaser to clean threads and deposits at the bottom of both holes. Inspect the crank seal and balancer inertia ring for any brittle points, damages, or gaps. Replace if necessary. Start with the alternator. Attach the alternator bracket to the water pump using two 3/8 by 3/4 socket head cap screws. Hang the alternator using the 3/8 by 6-inch socket head cap screw through the alternator ear with the 3.25-inch spacer between the alternator and cylinder head. Attach the bottom of the alternator to the bracket with the 5/16 by 1-inch button head cap screw. Tighten all bolts except for the ones that will need to move during belt tensioning. Now move on to the power steering bracket and pump. Attach the front and rear power steering brackets to the engine block using two 3/8 by 4-inch socket head cap screws and 2.75-inch spacers between the brackets. Attach the power steering pump to the brackets using a 3/8-inch by 1-inch hex head bolt and washer to the rear of the pump. On the front of the pump, use a 3/8 by 1-inch hex head bolt with a washer under the bolt head and two washers between the bracket and the pump. For the bottom bolt, use a 3/8 by 1.25 hex head bolt and a .44 spacer between the bracket and pump. Tighten all bolts except the ones that will need to move during belt tensioning. And now it's time to hit the AC. First, assemble the two brackets together using 3/8 by 1-inch socket head cap screws. Preferred mounting is with the compressor bracket as low as possible, but some applications may require using the top set of bolts. Next, attach the bracket to the cylinder head with the 3/8 by 3/4 button head bolts and 3/8 by 1-inch socket head cap screw. Attach the adjusting rod to the bracket and the cylinder head using the 3/8 by 2-inch socket head cap screw and .62 spacer. Now attach the compressor to the bracket using a 3/8 by 5.5-inch socket head cap screw and 3/8 lock nut. Install the adjusting rod to the compressor with 3/8 by 1.75-inch socket head cap screw and a 3/8 lock nut. Mount the idler pulley to the bracket using a 3/8 by 2.25-inch hex head bolt and a 3/8 washer. Use permanent strength Loctite on this bolt and torque to spec. With all the brackets installed, it's time to install the pulleys. Remove the old alternator pulley and fan from the alternator. The easiest method of removal and installation is to use an impact wrench. Make sure that the bearing spacer is on the shaft and install the new alternator fan and pulley with the washer and nut removed from the old fan and pulley. Attach the alternator cap using the supplied screws. Install the crank pulley using the supplied 3/8 bolts and torque to spec. Install the water pump pulley. These are simple 5/16 fine thread bolts that can be found at most hardware stores in varying lengths to accommodate the spacer length you choose. Install the power steering pulley. If using a keyway style pump, check to make sure that the key stays in place until the pulley is fully seated. It is recommended if using a press fit pump to use a pulley installation tool. Lastly, install belts as depicted in the CVF catalog or website images for your system. Set proper belt tension and tighten remaining bolts to torque spec. Install idler pulley cap. At CVF Racing, we pride ourselves on delivering customer service that is nothing short of legendary. If you ever have an issue with one of our products, we'll bend over backwards to make sure that you're satisfied.